loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we are going over all the books I read in the month of November, and genuinely November is probably the strongest reading month I've had all year. It was so good. I enjoyed pretty much every single book that I read. So let's get straight into it. Grab yourselves a beverage, let me know what your favourite book of the month is, and we're going to go in the usual format that I've been doing, which is where I go through my stats, where I'm up to with all the different bingos that I'm taking part in, because there's a lot, and we'll get into the books and stuff. But okay, right, I think I've prepared enough. Let's start off with the statistics. So I have read 11 books this month. I've hauled, okay, so it's 15, but 3 of them were novels, and then 12 are manga, because yeah, I've decided that I'm kind of obsessed right now, so you know, I had to have stuff to read. Translated, I've read 2 books. The format was really decent. We've got 10 physical, 1 ebook. DNFs was 1, and then rereads was 0, which is fine because this month in December I'm going to be rereading like nobody's business. But okay, the genres, I've got cozy, which is 3, fantasy, which is 5, no sci-fi. Honestly, sci-fi's been so lackluster. I was like, oh, I'm going to read loads of sci-fi this year. That's not happened. Horror, 3, mystery, 3, which is the highest it's been in a while. That was really good. It was so good to get back into mysteries. Oh, I loved it. Thriller, 0. Romance, 1, and then classics, 0, and then other is 1. So not too bad across the statistics. I'm quite happy with this. I'm looking forward to all the new ones that I'm going to be tracking. I say that. I don't think, is there anything like new I'm tracking? I don't know, I'll have to have a look. Now we're going to go into the different bingo boards. So we've got our fantasy, which is a year-long fantasy bingo board. You can also do sci-fi and stuff like speculative fiction. This runs from the 1st of April to the last day of March. I can't remember if it's a 30-day or a 31-day month. Regardless, that's going on. I'm still taking part. I don't think I did much. Okay, so I definitely did 1. Just seeing if I did anything else. Okay, so I think it was just 1. So for last in a series, I put in The Poison Song by Jen Williams. This was a buddy read with Danny. Speaking of series though, we have Rainy's year-long series challenge. Honestly, I have loved this. This one, did I put anything on this one? No, this is another one where I haven't actually completed anything else. I've got this 1 square left and I just don't think I'm going to get it done. It is such a shame. Editing Kirsten jumping in here because I did fill a square for Rainy's year-long series takedown. It was the indie / self-published square, which I did use Murder at the Spring Ball for this prompt, which is the first book in the Lord Editon series by Benedict Brown. Past me is going to forget the author's name, so you're going to have that coming up soon. Read a few books in this series already, but I hadn't read the first book, so I went back, read that, and used it for this square, which is what I had been planning to do from the very start of the year when I decided to join in with this bingo and saw that square. Like, that was the book that had been marked for that. Also, I forgot to talk about the Romantasy bingo that's been done by Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy. Again, I'll have her channel linked below, but I did decide to take part in this a month late. But I did manage to at least get 1 space filled, and that is The Prisoner's Throne. I am using this for a court setting because this one in particular does take place full of court intrigue. We're going to 2 different courts, so there's lots going on in this book. But I'm going to let Past Custom take it back from here. And then the last bingo board is the horror bingo. And the horror bingo, did I put anything or was it all last month? I think it might have been, yeah, no, all last month, because I was contemplating putting The Shining for a square on Sarah from Wicked Reading. Again, I'll have everyone linked below. The bingo board, horror bingo board. This one goes from the 1st of October until the last day of September 30th. I think it's a 30th month, 30th of September. And I was going to go with The Shining, put it on. This could definitely work for a couple squares. Actually, could it go with anything? Yeah, okay, ignore me. I don't think that would have worked for anything anyway. It would have gone for recommended, but I've already filled that square. Okay, well, very slow progress with the bingos this month, but honestly, I enjoyed my reading overall, so I'm not too mad about it. And now we're going to get into the reads. So the first book that I DNF'd is, unfortunately, was the Discord book club pick for November, and that was The Raven Song by Antonia Hodgkinson, and I just was not impressed with this book. Like, I had a bit of a back and forth moment because I gave up after this, like, what is technically like a prequel to the book, a prologue, but it was like a prologue that was like 3 or 4 chapters long. and I just kind of gave up in it. Like, I wasn't interested in the prologue at all. I thought the writing was, for what's meant to be an adult epic fantasy, it felt very YA, and while there is nothing wrong with YA fantasy, I am somebody that, like, I have my certain authors that I like to read for YA fantasy. Otherwise, I'm tending to steer clear a little bit because I'm not as actively interested in it. And I don't know, I just wasn't that impressed with it. I've heard some good things, I've heard some mixed things, but generally speaking, it does seem to be that the tone of the book is a little bit younger, and I'm just like, this isn't what I want for an adult epic fantasy. And while I am interested in the magic system of this book, because it's something to do with animals, I didn't get that far into it. The writing style, I just couldn't connect with. And unfortunately, it's one of those things, like, a writing style, there's no point in trying to force yourself to read a book if you're really not getting on with the writing style, because it doesn't matter how much you can be intrigued by the premise. If you don't like the writing itself, at most this book might get like a 2.5. Like, that would be it for me, and it's nothing against the author at all, that's just a personal preference thing. So yeah, unfortunately this one didn't work for me. But I did read another ebook this month, which I read instead of The Raven Scholar, which I absolutely loved, and that's Murder at the Springtime Ball, and this one is by, oh, I've left my phone somewhere. Okay, well, it's on the cover. I do apologise, but this is part of the Lord Eddington series, and I love this series. It is a self-published cozy murder mystery series. It takes a lot of things from like Agatha Christie and stuff, and it's just a really cute one. And this one, the Murder at Spring Ball, is the first book in the series, because I have read the 2 Christmas ones that have come out, and the great thing about the Christmas ones is you can read those in any order, and they are great. They've got really good cozy wintry vibes. The only thing that I'll say is that I wouldn't recommend reading this series back to back, because they do feel very similar. There are points in this book where I'm like, haven't I read this before, because it was so similar to the previous one that I had read. So I tend to only read like one a year, but I think that works really well. Like, I'm very happy reading at that sort of pacing. I like the characters. Following Christopher, he's always seen in the family, like, everyone loves him, but he is seen as this like not particularly bright person. He's just Christopher. He's our Chrissy. That sounds really horrible, but they do it in a really like, we love you sort of way. And Christopher finds it hilarious, because then his grandfather, he decides he wants an assistant to throw this big ball, and he chooses Christopher. And even Christopher's like, why do you want my help? I'm rubbish at everything. I'm not good at anything. And his grandfather just turned around and goes, but you know how to have fun, and that's all I want for the balls, so that's fine. And honestly, Christopher does some really hilarious things, but it is a murder mystery, and a murder does end up happening. Now, his grandfather is a retired police investigator, so he decides to take it upon himself to investigate this murder, but he's also decided to take Christopher under his wing, and Christopher is kind of like his Watson character, minus specialising in any particular subject. And it is really funny watching them just kind of like bumble their way through everything, Christopher in particular, the wild theories that he comes up with, and his grandfather's like, well, you're not quite there yet, but that's fine. It's just really fun. It's my kind of humour. It's very cozy and wholesome, even though there is a murder going on, and it's just, I don't know, I really like it. So if you're looking for a cozy mystery series, I would recommend giving this one a try. But like I say, don't read too many of them back to back, because I think at that point you could easily burn yourself out on this. Okay, and that's it for all the ebooks. So now we're going to be getting into all the other books. So I think I'm going to start off with the books that I read during the week where there was no reading vlog, because unfortunately I got ill, I lost my voice, I couldn't film. It was a whole time. So I did finish The Poison Song, which was the buddy read with Danny, as I've already mentioned, the last book in the Ninth Reign series, and I did like it, but I will say I have questions that haven't been fully answered. Parts of this book made me question why we needed certain parts in the second book. Overall, the series is a solid 4-star series. I would still recommend, if you're looking for something a little bit different, that's a little bit underrated. The first book is the strongest, but I do enjoy the series and the concept overall. I enjoy the fact that we've got Sarn, the world that we're in, and we've got a mixture of humans, elves, and witches, and they're all trying to survive against this alien species that likes to come in every so often to try and annihilate the planet. The elves, the Arborians, have always been the ones protecting the world and pushing them back. Unfortunately, their tree god, which gave them the long life and everything, has died, and they're all slowly dying off as a result, and we're just seeing like this last fight for the world. And I really like that concept. I loved the different characters that we get. I think the characters are great. There were just moments in this book where I was frustrated with some of the actions of what the characters were doing. doing. And the ending, it did have me in tears. And this is what I mean by like, it's still such a good series because I love the writing. I still love the characters because I'm crying over them. It's just at the very ending, I wish we'd got more. I wish we had more of an ending for all the characters, like more in depth rather than just like a couple lines letting us know where all of the characters were kind of like finishing in the series. All of that to say though, I still gave this like a 3.75 to 4 stars. I think I'm just going to round up to the 4 stars because again, I cried in this book. Like I was genuinely sobbing, and you know, there were moments where I was just so connected and so worried. So yes, it's not a perfect series and it's a little bit disappointing because I think it could have been an amazing series, but this is still a good series. So yeah, I liked it. Very pleased that I got to read that with Danny. This was amazing. We've been buddy reading the whole series. Every other month we'd read a book and it was just brilliant and the exact motivation I needed to finish out this series. I also read Hazelthorn by C.D. Drews, and this is one that I feel a little bit conflicted about because I really wanted to love it, and while I do love the writing, I think I just read this too close to Don't Let the Forest In. So Don't Let the Forest In by C.D. Drews, one of my favourite books ever. Like I absolutely loved it, fell in love with it at the start of the year. It's going to be in my top books of the year. It was so good. The problem that I've got with this is while the plot is different, the characters and the love interest are similar. And it's similar enough that I felt it was too close together for me to be reading it. Now, I will say I really couldn't care less if an author has a blueprint and that's what they do, because if it works, it works. The only thing is I like to leave it a good length of time between books so that when I get back to reading them, I know what I'm expecting, but I'm not that bothered that they're so similar. That's the only thing with this one. So I'm still giving this I think I gave it a 3.75 in the end. I still liked it. I just think maybe if I'd waited another 6 months, then this book could have got an easy like 4.25 because I do love the writing in this. Like there's something about C.G. Drews' writing, the way they describe things, it's very gothic horror. I love the plant horror that's in this. Like it has got a lot of elements I really love, but a lot of the things about the love interest was so similar to Don't Let the Forest In. Like we've both got these two characters who just aren't telling our main character things that they should know. They're being very secretive about things that they don't need to be secretive about. In their mind, they've got their reasonings and stuff, but I'm just like, you know, it's a bit too similar that you're just not telling our main character information. Like, I don't mind that as a plot device, but also to have two books like it, I'm like, we could have changed that a little bit. And then the main character that we're following, their kind of obsession with the love interest. This one was a little bit more toxic leaning, but also not really, because I feel like in Don't Let the Forest In, it does get very toxic in like that bordering of obsession to love to pain. It's obsessive. I've really enjoyed other obsessive toxic books. I think maybe I would have preferred this if it was adult. We could have explored themes a little bit more because there was some darker things going on in this plot line, which I think would have been great if it was adult. I think if we had just aged up the characters and explored those themes more, then I would have preferred it a little bit more. But as it was, it felt a little bit too similar to Don't Let the Forest In, and while there were interesting things going on and really dark things, could have been pushed further. But I think it was the age rating of the book that kind of stopped it from going as far as it did. Like, I would still read more by C.G. Drews. I would still recommend this book. I would just say if you've recently read Don't Let the Forest In, you'll probably pick up on those similarities. And that may really work for some people. And again, it does work for me, but I also prefer to have a longer time between books. So yeah, I still really liked this one. It is more murder mystery leaning, which I enjoyed. That was great. That week I also did read The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. This was the book that you all voted on for the month. I enjoyed this one. I'm giving it 4 stars, although realistically speaking, this should be like a 3.25. It's just I have rose-tinted glasses when it comes to Holly Black's book. I should have read the first book, I think it's The Stolen Heir, closer together with this book. In The Stolen Heir, you follow Wren, and in this book, we follow Prince Oak. In the first book, it's a bit more of a travelling story. We have Prince Oak that comes up to Wren saying about trying to take her place, and so they go into Fairy. Now in this book we're getting Prince Oak's perspective. This one is more like court intrigue and things like that. I think it works for the characters that we're following. Less court and intrigue focused in the first book because we're following Wren, to then have it being very intrigue heavy in this book because again we're following Prince Oak. So I personally think that worked really well. I do think I would have benefited from reading that book closer together, just because there are like smaller little things that I know I probably didn't pick up on, but I still really enjoyed it. I still had a lot of fun. I love the way the fairy folk are depicted in this, because it's very much based on folklore, and I love that. I love seeing that side of things. I love seeing the capricious nature of all of the fairy creatures, and I just really enjoy it. Like, it's just so much fun. And while yes, there are points where it's a little bit convoluted and things like this, I still really enjoy it. I would love more books in this world, like I really would, but we'll see what Holly Black gives us next. It did exactly what I wanted it. Like, I knew this was not going to be a new favourite, this was not going to be like amazing, beautiful writing. I knew what to expect and it delivered on that, hence why I'm giving it a 4 stars, but if I was looking at this more critically, it would be closer to a 3.25. And then the very last thing I read in that week, honestly, I'm kind of bummed that I lost my voice because the reading was pretty decent. Volume 1 of Gachakuta. This is my partner's. I want to get back into reading manga. I've been obsessed with cake tins. I'll have a channel linked below. I've just been loving it. Okay, I've purchased loads. I think I want to read like 1 manga a week, and the idea is that when it gets into warmer weather, when I really don't want to be reading, I keep reading for you. I mean, I still enjoy reading, but I would read at a much slower pace. And I think what I'm going to do next year, instead of forcing myself to read longer novels, I'm going to switch my focus and read shorter novels and manga. And I think that will make me feel happier with my reading, because I'm not forcing myself to read loads and loads of pages per day, but instead it will be a different format and things like. We're going to give it a try. I could, by the time we get into warmer weather, I could have changed my mind completely, but I've purchased loads of manga on the off chance that works. Yes, it's a problem. I got ill, okay? I was feeling sorry for myself. I decided to purchase loads. It's a whole thing. But this was really fun. I really liked it. So in this one, we've got this like floating world, but they are extremely reckless with items and they just throw things away constantly. Oh, we've got a little bit of a tear in something. Well, we're not going to fix it. We're just going to throw it away. And they throw it all down into what they call like this abyss. And then our main character, he gets accused of murder and he gets thrown into the abyss, and it turns out it's not an abyss. There is a whole world down here, and the people above in this floating world are just throwing their trash onto these people, and it has poisoned the world. And honestly, there's so much commentary you can take about that, around consumerism, the way we treat things and stuff. Like, I really enjoyed this, so I can't wait to continue. We only got, well, my partner only picked up volume 1, so I'm like, well, we need more. I have definitely got my eyes on picking up more of these because this was really good. Okay, that was really chatty. Sorry about that. This next book should be a little bit faster, but this was the first time I got to talk to you about these books. So now for the rest of the books that I read. I also read In the Company of Witches, and I gave this one 3.75 stars. This is by Aurelia Wallace. This was a really good cozy mystery for autumn. That's what you're looking for. You want a really good cozy mystery. Give this one a try. I think it was really cute and really wholesome. I really liked the autumn vibes. I think that was perfected really well. In this one, we're following witches. We've got our main character, Bryn, and she's really struggling because her husband passed away a year prior, and she's living with her aunts in this B&B, and her aunts remind me of the witches from Sabrina. It was great. They gave perfect Sabrina aunt vibes. That was amazing. And a murder happens in their B&B, and one of the witches are being framed for this. Now, the village don't realise that they're witches. They've always just helped look after the village and stuff. A little group of people that are starting to try and cause like this witch hunt against the aunts, and we have Bryn that's trying to stop all of that. It was really good. It was a really easy mystery. I would definitely pick up the next one next year. Like, this is a thing where I probably read like 1 per year in autumn. There's only 2 out currently. I've heard talk about potentially Aurelia Wallace coming back to this series. I don't know how accurate that is. Regardless, I'm going to pick up book 2 and read that one next year in autumn. Probably if there isn't any more, I would then just reread this and then like kind of swap it between the 2 each year, because this really was perfect for autumn. Then we have The Shining by Stephen King. I gave this one a 4.25. I really liked this. So I'm going to say I don't like Stephen King's writing. It's one of those things where his writing isn't anything amazing. It's very dated. I have a whole vlog. I go into more detail on that. However, Stephen King knows how to write a horror scene. Like, genuinely, I was scared at points. There were things that are being described that should not be scary that I found scary, and that is what really kept me going for this, and I really enjoyed it because of that. So yeah, this was brilliant. I read this and Carrie in that reading vlog, but I read Carrie in the last couple of days of October. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I would definitely try more Stephen King work. Obviously, bearing in mind that yes, his books are outdated, and yes, there are things that aren't the best portrayed in his book, but for the horror element and what Stephen King has done for the horror genre, I was very pleased with my time with this. Oh my god, I've been sat on the floor for too long. I've got pins and needles. We have the last 4 books. Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. I enjoyed this so much more than what I thought. I'm ending on a 4 stars for this. Okay, it's not the best fantasy book I've ever read. There are definitely moments in this where there's lots of info dumping, where it took me a little while to actually care about the characters. But the plot I was super intrigued by, and by the end of this book, I'm like, I need the next book in the series, and it's kind of sad that I don't have time to read this until the earliest of January, and January's already shaping up to be a really busy reader month, so I'm probably not going to get to it till like February, which is like, why? Because we ended in such like cliffhanger moments. I would say if you liked Mistborn, read this book. I don't know why I have that in my mind, but it just, for me, it gave me kind of similar vibes. It was just really good. Okay, I really enjoyed this. So that we follow a few different characters, but the first character that we meet is Sonika, and she is a thief. She's trying to survive in what is called the Commons, is it? We're in this one main city, and the city is split up into different merchant houses, and they have all their own rules and regulations. And in the middle of all of this, we have this empty space which no merchant has claimed. It's a lawless, ruthless space as a result. And honestly, the contrast between the merchant houses, the different areas that are controlled by them, and then the commons, the slums, is absolutely massive. And so that's the thing, like, we've got a lot of traditional fantasy elements. But Sonika, she gets put on this job to try and steal this box, and she does, and as a result it sets off this chain of events where everyone is after her, everyone's trying to kill her, and it turns out the thing that she stole is world changing. And the thing that I loved about this was the magic system was so interesting. So it's done in a way where basically can engrave an object to convince it to do something. So the example that I used in my reading vlog for this is, say you've got a carriage wheel and it's sat on just a flat level thing. It's not going anywhere. What you can do is you can put what they call a scribe in onto the wheel to convince the wheel that it's not on a flat level plane. Instead, it's on a steep hill. And so it's going to go, oh my god, I am on a steep hill. Oh my god, I better move, because, you know, gravity is a thing. It moves. But it's on a straight level plane the whole time, so it just moves nicely across. And that's how it works. And it's so clever how Robert Jackson Bennett has used this for so many things. Like, it's brilliant. And this book gets a little bit dark in places. I really enjoyed what it's done. Like, I really was fascinated. My favourite character on here is Clef. I love Clef. But yeah, I just love this. There is so much going on in this book, and I really enjoyed it. It's a little bit of a slower start, but I think the plot and the world building, like the magic and everything, was enough to keep me going. And then I don't know, I hit this point and I was suddenly so invested in all of the characters, in all of the things that were going on, and I'm just like, I love this so much. So yeah, I feel like this is very underrated. I don't really see many people talking about it, but I would really recommend, especially, like I say, if you do like Mistborn I think is better. I would still give this one a go. I think this series has a lot of potential, and I was just so intrigued by how everything works. So yeah, this is my recommendation. If you're looking for another fantasy book that's a little bit underrated, I would give this one a try. Then I buddy read The Impossible Fortune by Richard Osman with Christina. This was amazing. We tend to try and buddy read Richard Osman's works. It was Christina that got me into this series in the first place, and I love it so freaking much. This is the latest book in the Thursday Murder Club series, and it's been a good amount of time between the 4th book and the 5th book, and the end of the 4th book was really like heartbreaking. There was a lot of things going on, so we did need that break, and I really love how this is talked about and how all of our characters are still reeling from the events of the last book, and I really enjoyed that. This is a book series with a massive cast of characters, but I just loved it. Okay, we've got like 2 different plot lines going on here. There is another murder mystery going on, and I really enjoyed seeing how both of those plot lines came together towards the end. I just really enjoyed it. I ended up giving this one a 4.5 just because I think I've missed the characters. I really loved being back with them. Joyce is my favourite, and it's all just amazing. amazing. Like, if you don't know what this series is, the main first book, you're following a group of characters that are in this residential home. They all meet up together every Thursday to discuss cold cases, and then an actual murder happens at the residential home and they get involved, much to the despair of the local police force. And it's so much fun, and each book, everything's building. You've got more characters, more mysteries, more plot lines and stuff, and I think it is great. So I really enjoy this book, the series. Okay, then we've got Girls by Annette Schnapp. This one is translated from Dutch by Laura Watkinson. I really enjoyed this. This is a middle grade collection of fairy tales that have just been modernized, and I think some of them were really good. I ended up giving this one a 4-star. Out of this whole collection, there was only one short story which I didn't really get on with. I think the rest of them were done really well. You can see how they've been modernized. You can see how they've also been adapted for a child audience, but I think even as an adult you can really appreciate them, and I loved it. I loved the different commentary that was calling out. In particular, I really loved how the Bluebeard story was done in this, because you still had the gothicness of the Bluebeard story but obviously adapted for a younger audience, and I thought it was so clever. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I would recommend, especially if you're looking for maybe a gift for a child in the family that really enjoys stories and stuff, maybe gift it to them. I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. Or if you're like me and you like seeing how fairy tales and stuff have been retold, this is a good one for it. Like, I'm not normally a middle grade reader, so the fact that I did really enjoy this, and it has awesome illustrations throughout, like, I was very pleasantly surprised. This was a really good one to just pick up and read a short story per day. Take my time with it. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I would really recommend. And then last but not least, we have my 5-star read of the month, which is We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad, and I annotated this one to death. I loved this book so much. I'm not going to get too much into it. I do have a weekly reading vlog, and even in that one though, I don't go into too much detail because I don't want to give away Bunny for you. This is a prequel / continuation of Bunny, but also Mona Awad wanted it to be a standalone, and I feel like kind of yes, you could do that with this, but also I think I personally would still recommend reading Bunny first before going into this book. But I really enjoyed it. In this one, we're following the 4 girls that Samantha is obsessed with in Bunny, and we're seeing their reaction to Samantha's book, and they've tied her up and they are saying, well, now it's your turn to listen to our story. The only thing to note is this is done in second person. I personally love a second person narrative, but I know it's not for everybody. It was absolutely wild. I loved the different themes that were explored in this book. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, and a 5-star read. Out of the two, I have to admit I do prefer Bunny, but I still really loved this book. I thought it was really good, and I still keep thinking about it. Like, certain parts of this book, I'm just like, this was just so clever. I love it so much. So yeah, but there we are. Those are all the books that I read in the month of November. You'll have to let me know, have you read any of these? What are some of your favorite reads of the month? Did you have any disappointments and stuff? Let me know. Oh my god, this is gonna go everywhere. But there we go. Those are all the books. Thank you so much for being here, for listening to me ramble about all the books that I read. I think if you've made it this far, then let's just put a little bunny emoji in the comments for my favorite read of the month, and genuinely thank you. Oh my god, this is going everywhere. Thank you so freaking much for being here, for always listening to me ramble. All of your support means the absolute world, so thank you so much. Okay, I am gonna leave you in peace. I've actually got to get ready for work. I don't even know what the time is. I've left my phone somewhere. I keep doing that. I just keep leaving it, not paying attention to where I've put it down, and then I end up going on the hunt for it for like 5 minutes. Anyway, not the point. The point is, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. An extra special thank you goes out to all of my Patreons for all of your support over there. It means the absolute world. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links, everyone I've mentioned, Discord, Patreon, everything is always linked below for you. And I will of course catch you in the very next video.